Namaskar, hello and welcome to CIET NCERT's special live phone-in program brought to you by NCSL, which is National Center for School Leadership. And this is a whole series where we discuss school leadership development. And our today's topic is promoting environment conducive to learning in schools, leadership interventions. If you have any questions, any queries related to this topic, please feel free to reach out to us. You can call us on our number 8800440559. You can call us and ask your questions. If you are watching us on PMeVIDYA channel number 6, channel number 9 and channel number 12, then also you can ask us questions. You're watching us on our YouTube channel, which is NCERT Official. In the live chat box, you can write down your questions and reach out to us. So we'll take up your questions towards the end of our session. We have an expert with us and she'll be more than happy to answer all your doubts, all your queries. She is Professor Rashmi Diwan. Welcome, ma'am.
Namaskar. Thank you, Tanvi.
Namaskar, ma'am. A very warm welcome to you in this program of ours. Let me introduce you to all our viewers, ma'am. She is the head of National Center of School Leadership, NIPA. And NIPA is the National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration. So once again, I welcome Rashmi ma'am in our discussion, and let's begin this discussion. And I would like to ask ma'am my first question, that would be, ma'am, this is a highly competitive world. We all know that. So what changes do you think, as in your opinion, will be more practical in assessing a child's learning levels?
Thank you, Tanvi. See, historically, if we see that the Indian education system and specifically the school system is essentially an examination-centric system. So the mounting pressures on school heads, teachers and students to show excellent results, they do lead to anxiety, discomfort, unrest all around. And over the years, we have realized that despite children doing well in the examinations, we do not see many happy faces around. And I think you all would agree with me to that. So it's not simply about getting children to perform better in examinations, but their holistic growth and development is equally important. And in the past few years, there has been a greater realization that such a situation will not take our children far. So we even see that in these competitive times, as rightly pointed out by Tanvi, that the knowledge society today is also demanding excellence and creativity, which was not there earlier, in place of rote learning and examination-based performance. So we are very well aware now that measuring learning levels are only a part of the means and not an end in itself. So not undermining the importance of quality education today, we also recognize that children getting a good feel of education, and they feel more motivated, more confident and happier if this, the good feel factor is also linked to improved learning levels. And this also results to the success at the school and in life generally. So gradually we are seeing that the attention of schools is shifting from examination centers to learning and development. The schools are therefore gearing to meet the social and emotional needs of learning as a key focus for their work with the children to bring desired results and better results over the years. over to you, Tanvi.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. And you greatly answered the question, and you even introduced our topic for our viewers, ma'am. So let's go further. And we all know that national education policies have placed quality environment in schools. This we have seen already. But top on its priority agenda. But do we also have policy recommendations for creating a good learning environment in school for, let's say, improving the student learning?
Yes, I agree with you, Tanvi. The national education policies from time to time have been focusing on improving quality education. But now, at the same time, have also been emphasizing on creation, on generation and sustenance of a positive culture to bridge the learning gaps that have come over the years, to combat silent exclusion, and also to address all the factors within the schools that hinder student learning. If we look back, to National Curriculum Framework 2005, even the curriculum framework at that time, in 2005, expected schools to aim to make learning a joyful activity and to meet the complex and diverse learning needs of students. Then came National Policy on Education in 1986, and if we look at para 5.15, it has emphasized on the importance of creation of a positive learning environment coupled with attractive physical infrastructure and well-qualified human resources. Then the most recent National Education Policy 2020, if we look at para 5.8 through to para 5.14, in fact, the latest policy has strongly, recommended for a caring, vibrant, inclusive environment of schools conducive to learning of every child in this country. The policy also recognizes the importance of positive teaching learning culture that leads to improved learning outcomes. So positive learning culture within the classrooms and improved learning outcomes are the main focus of the current policy. And it does indicate also that the role expected of principals and teachers. Explicit, it should be including developing a caring, inclusive culture in the schools for effective learning and benefit of all stakeholders. So the policy 2020 calls for school principals and teachers both who think and act differently while proactively nurture learning. So in the emerging policy and practice paradigm, when we talk about Nishtha 1, 2, 3, I would say that we all would agree that learning to learn is today gaining momentum.
Okay, all right, ma'am. Ma'am, would you like to highlight any of the issues and challenges that schools face in hampering the learnings in school?
Yeah, Tanvi, I think we are confusing between schooling and learning here. So foremost, I would say, is the need to understand that schooling in itself is not learning. So when improving a school is the focus, learning becomes a priority. And equally important is the holistic and balanced growth of every child in the school. But if we look at past, the researches in the past 4 decades, they have centered around, falling standards in school education, and common issues which were talked about revolved around poor learning levels of children, low transition rates from upper primary to secondary and from secondary stage to senior secondary school stage. Then we were talking about low school completion rates even after completing several years of schooling. So all these issues have attracted considerable criticism all these years. We also know that silent exclusion, which was not talked about, in common, but yes, it has a major, it is still a major critical factor which pushes a child to discontinue education at any stage of schooling. And this form of exclusion was hidden till recently, since no one would know that the child who goes to school or who attends the school regularly is hardly learning. So it's high time we all recognize that if silent exclusion, learning gaps and learning deficits are to be addressed seriously, the greater onus lies on principal and teacher leadership to sit together to work on strategies to generate enabling conditions for every learner to be able to learn. So therefore, in the first place, today we expect schools and classrooms to focus on learning and learner. This is what is now, we are looking at that transition today. And in the second place, the schools become safe, conducive, inclusive, and equitable institutions. This is what NEP 2020 also emphasizes on. Therefore, now today, we also recognize equally important is to see that the mental health, which was a major hampering factor in learning, is also addressed seriously, because we now understand that the mental blocks created do seriously hamper learning curve and keeps impeding the learning cycle. So therefore, today, our entire struggle is to bring the trust and confidence that schools stand as the biggest support to children for their emotional well-being. So that is something which we are looking at, the paradigm shift happening today. So this, but also we realize that this is not an easy task. This is not an easy proposition for a principal and teachers, because it does pose a huge challenge at the system and at the institutional levels, particularly when schools are placed in diverse contexts. May it be location, may it be resources, may it be enrollment, may it be school size or class size. So many issues in the past were being are being addressed today, and that is why the National Education Policy 2020 is coming up in a big way, getting it transacted, getting it translated in real school terms, so that, and all efforts are being made that the learning of children is not hampered, what we faced in the past. So this is how we are trying to, support the learning of children by providing, leadership development programs for principals and also teachers to work out together on strategies to generate enabling conditions for every learner to be able to learn.
Okay, Ma'am, that's a great initiative, and I'm sure in the future the situation will be much better and the learnings in schools won't be hampered. So, ma'am, like you said, that you are trying to provide a leadership development program to the principals. Here, I would like to ask you that what exactly is the role of a principal in generating and sustaining constructive learning in schools? Would you like to highlight a few points here?
Yeah, in fact, I'm reminded of the recommendation from World Development Report 2018 that talks about all for learning. And as a commitment, it also says that all for learning leads to learning for all. So the report strongly supports the significant role a principal plays in generating and sustaining the climate conducive to learning and also sustaining the culture of learning. Because whatever in the past was happening, that most of the changes were happening at the structural level. But if it has to become a culture in the institute or in the school, then it has to be, deeply ingrained into the realities of the school, and also an effort from the principal to generate that kind of environment in the school which is more constructive for the child as well as teachers for learning, for bringing out constructive learning. We also recognize that at the heart of learning of every child in school lies the untiring effort of the principal in creating a supportive climate. See, we have in our National Center for School Leadership tried to, document some of the success stories of the principals who have done excellent work when it comes to supporting, creating that kind of supportive environment in the school. And we also know that, those, documentations of success stories of principals have led us to learn that yes, change is possible, and the principal is the main, kingpin who drives, the school through change, and also tries to bring in that kind of change in the school where every child is getting those kinds of, enabling conditions where learning is getting generated. So now the question arises, what could school principals do to generate a supportive climate that helps in student learning? So here I would say, based on the experiences we had working with, a large number of principals, and also as an ardent researcher, I would say that a more feasible, approach would be to create an ecosystem in and around the school that helps enriching learning for all. And here I would prefer to share 3 outstanding leadership practices adapted by the principals of successful schools that have mainly focused on creation of a supportive culture for learning. So these principles we have seen in many school sites that principals have formed professional learning community. I will talk about 3 outstanding leadership practices here. The first is forming professional learning community. And the second is they have provided guidance in generating stimulating environment for teachers as well as for students to learn and sustain these efforts for maintaining the culture of the learning in the schools. The third point I wanted to share, we have also seen that these principles have created newer opportunities within the resources available and also provided existing opportunities for personalized learning environment in the schools for every child in the class. Now, if I am asked to elaborate further one by one, the first point which I said was formation of professional learning community. Friends, this has to be done within the jurisdictions of a specified geographical area. So in this, as part of professional learning community, the principal engages with the communities outside the school and provides an array of opportunities for teachers and school management committees and school development management committee members to share experiences, reflect on challenges, and together refine ideas and enrich mutual learning that helps applying in their own school situations. So these professional learning communities are drawn from the resources available outside the school, but they become a kind of community which help enriching the school and enriching the learning in the school, whether it is for the principal or for the teachers or for the learners. So involvement of all is ensured. It could be teachers, it could be experts from outside, it could be subject specialists. So all those resources are mobilized, and where SNC members who are learned ones are also brought within the ambit of school, within the ambit of professional learning community, and those opportunities are organized or programs are organized where learning provides an impetus to meet differential learning needs of students and teachers both. So in fact, in a way, the principal draws most of the talent from outside, and it is like talent hunt that is done, and also the talent inside the school is also nurtured. The second point which I would like to discuss is these principles have helped and guided in generating stimulating environment for teachers and students to learn and sustain these efforts for maintaining the culture of learning. Let me also share with you that research has shown that stimulating environment has the most powerful effect on the learner and the process of learning. And these include freedom to experiment, innovative new ways of teaching and learning. Here, the principal sees to it that that principal takes time out for classroom visits. Coaching and mentoring for teachers is, encouraged, and also at the same time, these do foster collegial conversations about teaching and learning. So teachers are provided a space for applying new teaching strategies, creative problem solving, overcoming subject-specific difficulties, handling problematic children and students. So this is how teachers are, facilitated. Their learning is facilitated. At the same time, they are also provided, coaching and mentoring by the principal to overcome subject-specific difficulties and also handling discipline in the school. The third point which I would like to mention here is about the principals have created newer opportunities for the teachers and for the students, or have also mobilized existing opportunities to help teachers and students restore the thrill of learning. So here, more personalized learning of every child in the school is the focus, and more focused attention on personalized learning of every student in the children in the school. So here, in this kind of framework, the principal allows students to link new learning with existing learning or the existing knowledge. Principal also provides opportunities to participate in the learning process that promotes higher order thinking. Principal also helps in building new knowledge, following a constructivist approach, deriving learning from different members of learning community while creating own learning paths. So that freedom is also given to the teachers as well as the students. Then principal also may not directly engage with the students, but do nurture and mentor teachers to nurture differential learning needs and motivation for children to learn. So all this, kind of ecosystem is created within the school, and this is what provides an impetus for, teachers as well as students to find out new knowledge, construct or reconstruct something new. So this is where the creativity is also promoted, and when those enabling conditions are created to nurture the potential of the child, and with the passion and the with their choice or interest, then it also that process of learning also begins. So that encouragement children need, and children and teachers need their own space for this. So the principal does restore excitement for learning. May not directly engage with the students, but yes, the principal has a major role to play to support that kind of environment, to support and create more positive, more supportive climate, just to restore excitement for learning. And more the principal brings tangible excitement in all teaching learning exercises, the more psychological, emotional, physical, personal needs are also met. And also at the same time, when the principal gives that kind of freedom and space to children and principals, more mental space is provided to absorb knowledge, and we have seen more spark of creativity in the classrooms and teaching methodology both. So more the students become creative, and they link their work with their lives and also with the school realities. They regain the lost confidence, and which results in improved learning. So learning is not restricted only to the performance in the marks or benchmarking through grades, but learning becomes much wider and more, spectrum also becomes more wider of learning in these kinds of situations. So such practices, the leadership practices by the principal certainly create an overall stress-free environment charged with energy, interest, curiosity, excitement, humor, fun, and total well-being of all. And above all, feeling of safety and security also adds to the element of feel good about learning. And I think it's time to realize how important is it to reflect on what we are doing. What decisions are we taking in a school situation as a principal? And what strategies will help in creating that happiness, that satisfaction for self, for teachers, and for students? So a reflective leader helps the teacher and learners to see the world anew with a different lens. So in the process, while reflecting on one's own decisions and practices, also create a reflective teacher and a reflective learner. So school principal has a major role to play in creating this kind of environment where learning outcomes is also coupled with stress-free environment and also creates that happiness that we are all longing for today. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, ma'am. So all the principals who are watching this program, because this program is not just for the students, this is for the teachers, for the principals, for all the school heads. And ma'am just said that the role of principals is extremely important, and they have a huge role to play. So I'm sure this is going to be very beneficial to all the principals who are watching this program. And ma'am, we've spoken about the principals, but I wanted to ask you about teachers as well. How can teachers nurture differential learning needs in a classroom situation?
Yeah, Tanvi, I would like to say here that teacher leadership is what matters the most when it comes to nurturing learning needs of all children in a classroom setting. And when we look back at global and Indian review of research in the past 4 decades, even, Vygotsky or Sawyer or World Bank Group or Indian studies, we have seen over the years, right from 1978 to 2006 to 2016, 2019, all have strongly, recommended that teachers can make a difference when it comes to addressing learning needs of children in their classrooms. So here I would say there are few suggestions which I have drawn from this review of literature, and I'm sure that teachers must be following. It is not something new that I'm talking about, but yes, I would say that still, it's a good idea to remind us all of all the suggestions taken together, and also may be helpful because it might remind us again, which we have forgotten in this treadmill of everyday challenge in, managing student learning. So here I would like to draw attention to 6 major leadership interventions by the teachers to maintain a culture of learning in a classroom situation. So here, the emphasis is more on improvement than perfection. So we are not looking at perfection, but more in the improvement, which we have started working on it. So the 6 major leadership interventions by the teachers in a classroom setting would entail: the first would be to create appropriate learning spaces for every child in the class by planning and implementing activities around a happy, caring, productive classroom charged with excitement and thrill to learn more. So that means more of homework for teachers to be done. Then how would they try to organize a particular lesson around, the stimulating environment, the spark of learning, how does it get ignited by the teacher, and how to involve children in those activities which help them to learn more about a certain concept.
Okay. Ma'am, just a gentle reminder here, we've got last 3 minutes left.
The teacher as a leader makes difference in learning is to provide a stimulating experience by using a variety of instructional strategies and activities to make learning an insightful experience that nurtures a feeling that the school actually cares, the teacher actually cares, the classroom actually cares. So the students are taught problem solving, conflict resolution, and even the social skills. Apart from the concept or apart from the lesson that is being taught. So more academic, yes, but also that caring part also needs to be nurtured. But then the activities need to be integrated with the lesson that is being taught. It could be problem solving, it could be any kind of skills through group work and peer learning that can be encouraged. The third is, it points out to nurturing the uniqueness in every learner. And this can be done. These are some of the points, friends, which are coming from research. And research, you all know, comes from certain experiences. So the third point is to nurture, for a teacher leader, to nurture uniqueness in every learner so that not even a single student is left out. So this can be done by assessing the range of understanding, remediation for average children. First of all, first is to identify or assess the range of understanding of different categories of children. Then remediation for average students, and also the remedial teaching, which we all are doing still. But yes, special care has to be taken, and special attention has to be given to those falling below 25 percentile rank.
Okay.
So that means that 75% above can be given that kind of teaching which they require as per their potential. But below 75 percentile rank, they need special attention.
All right. All right. Ma'am, we don't have any more time left. So could you please wrap up here with just a one-liner?
Fourth would be to address differential, levels of learning. and where Bloom's taxonomy, I will not elaborate further, but one can always go through the Bloom's taxonomy, which provides direction to teachers to think about their teaching and to arrange it in 6 levels of learning, all the teachings that happen in it, right from remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and eventually creating.
All right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. No, it's okay. So just to wrap up with this, the 5th is just to improve metacognition in learning by providing opportunities to students to construct their own learning. So that is also encouraged. So I would say the last point is to prepare students for lifelong learning. So engage them in activities that refine their thoughts, helping them to become successful adults.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for telling us so much about promoting environment conducive to learning in schools. And it's not a single person's job. It's the job of teachers, of principals, yes, and everybody involved in the school heads. So thank you so much for giving us so many details of this entire topic. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Tanvi. Thank you, and thank you, friends. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I look forward to more of questions, and then we can have another session.
Absolutely, ma'am.
So
thank you to all the participants who are watching this program. For today, we are closing up our sessions, but tomorrow we'll come back again with more sessions. And this was our special program by NCSL, that is National Center for School Leadership. And every Friday at 5:30 p.m. you can watch this program, and we'll bring you a new topic and the discussion. You can participate in the discussion through our YouTube channel, which is NCERT Official. And thank you so much for watching this program today, and I hope it's going to be very beneficial to all of you. Take great care of yourself, take care, stay healthy, stay happy. Namaskar.